Welcome to another episode of the Fantasy Basketball PH podcast. Enjoy the show.
What is up mga paps? Welcome to Fantasy Basketball PH, your Filipino brand of fantasy basketball. Again, this is your fantasy papi, Papi Roy. At kamusta mga papi? Kamusta ang week 17 nyo? Nakalagpas ba tayo sa week 17 playoffs? Napag-usapan na natin last time yung ating week 18. So, ngayon, as usual ulit tayo. Pangkaraniwang discussion dun sa mga recent news, open discussion. If may gusto kayong itanong, gusto kayong pag-usapan, comment nyo lang. And then, digdigin natin tong week 18. Almost, most likely, 2 to 3 weeks na lang eh. Unless yung liga nyo hanggang sasagadin yung regular season, which personally I don't really suggest. Pero gagawin pa rin natin 'to hanggang week 20, tapusin natin. Banatan na natin mga paps. Feeling ko naman walang masyadong solid na ano, na updates, yung game changing na update. So ang gawin na lang natin is i-quickly discuss natin yung ating mga games earlier. Okay, so try natin 'tong approach na 'to kung mas okay siya sa mata. Okay, so tingnan natin yung ating games for today. Shout out to you, ESPN. Bakene, man. So, ayan. Ang game kanina is Boston Celtics versus Charlotte Hornets. Panalo yung Hornets. Um, Wala pa rin si Time Lord, pero we are expecting him to be available very, very soon. Naka 20 minutes dito si Fournier. So, babanggitin na lang natin yung mga medyo notable dito, no? So, hindi na natin pag-uusapan si Jaylen Brown, si Tatum, kasi business as usual yan eh. Kemba Walker, business as usual. So, someone to focus here would be Evan Fournier, saka itong si Peyton Pritchard. So, nung wala pa si Fournier, there are several games na gumagawa si Peyton Pritchard. Pero unfortunately, andiyan na nga si Fournier. So I guess lalo nang naubos yung options natin dito sa Boston Celtics. Unless may uupong mga players, mukhang wala talaga tayong solid na pickups eh. Even in deep leagues, parang mahirap pumulot dito kasi wala talagang consistently gumagawa or nakakapag-provide ng value. As of the moment, dahil wala din si Time Lord, I guess it's gonna be Tristan Thompson, especially if you need rebounds. So yun lang yung masasuggest ko for the Boston Celtics. For the Charlotte Hornets, I guess kailangan yung silipin si Cody Martin saka itong si Jalen McDaniels. I'm pretty sure na-drop na tong dalawang to, most likely. So, if they are dropped, later on i-discuss natin yung schedule ulit on when is the right time to add them. So pero generally, they are the only ads here for the Charlotte Hornets. Other than that, maybe Wanamaker, just in case you're in a deep league, you can look at him. Pero um, I'm pretty sure it's just Jalen McDaniels and Cody Martin. If you need blocks or rebounds, it's a toss coin between Biombo and Cody Zeller as of the moment. So at least for this game, Cody Zeller didn't play. So Biombo played 22 minutes and provided 1 block and 7 rebounds. So if walang-wala na, kung deep leagues yan, pwede nyo na rin namang spatan sila. Pero medyo tight eh. Tight ang rotation ng Hornets and Boston Celtics. Watch out for LaMelo Ball. He'll be available in the upcoming what? So initially sabi 10 days eh. I think nakalipas na tayong almost 5 days. So probably end of the week or early next week makapaglaro na sila Melo Ball. Next game natin is Phoenix Suns versus Brooklyn Nets. So for the Phoenix Suns, wala si Tito J. Medyo limited siya dito. So Cam Johnson is playing a lot of minutes, but he's not doing big things. The minutes is still there. The field goals attempts are still there. So I guess we have to just roll the dice if you need some snipes. You have to have a hard look at Cam Johnson. Other than that, again, medyo mahirap na eh. Craig is someone is very interesting because he is a really good defensive player. So as you can see here, 20 and 14. So if maulit-ulit to, he is a speculative ad. If you're in a deep league and you want to roll the dice, wala namang sobrang solid na ad and you just want to push your luck, maybe you can add Craig. But um, as of the moment, I'm not trusting him yet because hindi nakapaglaro ng si Crowder, hindi nakapaglaro si Saric. So I guess those are the reason why nagkaroon ng playing time itong si Craig. Pero if matagal yung absence ni Crowder and Saric, I'm pretty sure he will carve some decent minutes. For the Brooklyn Nets, I've mentioned his name several times, Mike James. He just logged 7 minutes here, but in deep leagues, whenever Irving and Durant sits, he might carve up very decent minutes for the Brooklyn Nets. Again, for deep leagues lang to, no. So dun sa mga regular leagues and yung sa mas shallow na konti, wala din super ad eh. If may nag-drop ng Shamet, if may nag-drop ng Bruce Brown, maybe. But I'm pretty sure medyo mataas na yung ownership ng dalawang yan eh. Other than that, mahirap na makakuha ng players dito. Possibly, if Blake Griffin is available and DeAndre Jordan, I think they are also good ads. Pretty straightforward here. Nice win for Brooklyn Nets. Kasi Phoenix Suns is a very, very good team, especially when they are healthy. But unfortunately for this game, hindi sila masyado healthy. So it's kind of a positive game for the Brooklyn Nets, getting a win for a very good, not super good, but a very good team from the West. Memphis versus Portland. So for Memphis Grizzlies, hindi naglaro si Triple J. So with that said, balik ulit tayo sa usual suspects natin. Valanciunas also played. So he accumulated 21 and 10 off the bat. So if you own Jonas Valanciunas, you have to activate him. It's gonna be interesting if once Triple J is available. So tingnan natin kung ano yung hatian. I'm pretty sure mababawasan yung points ni Valanciunas pero hindi din aangat yung rebounds ni Triple J. So yun yung expectation natin. As usual, hindi pa rin makaputok-putok to si Anthony Melton because of those limited minutes. They really are sticking with Dillon Brooks. As much as I like Melton over Dillon Brooks is getting the minutes and he is actually doing a pretty decent job in the past games. As long as it's fine for you to have those low field goal percentages, I guess talagang kailangan mo nang i-add to si Dillon Brooks. Other than that, pretty straightforward. Siguro, if Grayson Allen was dropped, he is an interesting add despite sa mga previous questions na sinuggest natin i-drop siya kasi may comparison eh. Pero kung basta i-add nyo lang, kailangan mo ng player from the Memphis Grizzlies. Especially latter part of the week. I guess Memphis Grizzlies has a back-to-back game in the middle of the week. So you can actually add Grayson Allen. Kasi as you can see here, hindi lang nahuhulog yung mga trash niya. Pero he is what? 1, 2, 3. He is the fourth Memphis Grizzly to attempt more than 10 shots per game. So it just means that he still have the green light. So pag nahulog yan for Grayson Allen, for sure makakatulong siya. For the Portland Blazers, again, super pretty straightforward, super short rotation for the Portland Blazers. I think soon, given that Nurkic is already in his 100%, soon they will try to rest them. So once they've seen enough for those starters, feeling ko magto-tone down din to ulit. So kinailangan lang talaga nilang ano ma-ramp up yung minutes ni Nurk and yung usage niya. So ngayong na-ramp up na yan, probably they will just give him solid minutes but he might not play in back-to-backs. Then after that, after a few games, I'm expecting them to rest these guys as well. So maybe not this week, but probably in the week 19 or 20, there's a there's a possibility na biglang ipahinga tong mga players na to. They really needed the rest. The whole season long, talagang trabaho tong mga Portland Blazers kasi sobrang short ng rotation nila. So I think it's a possibility. Uh, if I have someone to add, maybe Cantor and Carmelo Anthony if they were dropped. Pero other than those players, I think wala nang masyadong makakapag-provide ng value eh. Next game, Cavaliers versus Wizards. Finally, Cavaliers lost. So nagkaroon sila ng konting winning streak nitong last week, no? Surprisingly. I thought they really wanted to lose just to get the higher percentage of getting solid rook out of the draft next season. Pero ngayon natalo na sila at nanalo naman tong Wizards which is something significant for the Washington Wizards. So for the Cleveland Cavaliers, nothing to look at here. Finally, a better solid game from Fro. So dun sa mga nagtiwala kay Fro, I really think he'll be a beast, especially next season. So he's one of those solid targets next season. I really hope na wag na masyado gumawa si Jarrett Allen para bababa yung stocks niya next season. Pero I think this is something that you will definitely see moving forward, especially kapag ma-clear na siguro si Kevin Love and maybe maayos na yung rotation nila kasi Fro is going to be a beast as long as you don't mind the free throws. But surprisingly, nag-improve na yung free throws niya. So that's a good sign. Sexton didn't play. So obviously, Garland had his hands full. So 20 attempts, mga paps. And he really did one of his best games in the season. Aside from the TOs, that was a very good game. 50% from the three-point line and 100% for the free throw line. So sobrang slightly efficient game for Garland. Something notable here is his 9 assists. So, at least for this season, nakita natin na talagang nag-improve na yung playmaking skills ni Garland. Sa bagay, it was never a question that Garland is a better player than Sexton, but it was a question on how would they handle the usage, right? So, if that's the case, na ganito yung magiging bigayan, moving forward, sobrang hindi na makakalagpas sa middle round siguro si Garland saka si Sexton. Kasi at least for the season, sobrang late na drop ng si Garland. Other than that, again, straightforward. Nancy's still playing but it's kind of mediocre pero nakakatulong pa din kasi mini triple-double eh. Not the double-digit triple-double pero at least 5 points, 5 assists, 7 rebounds. Nakakatulong naman yan eh. I'm still watching out for Hartensteiner. I really think they have to have a hard look at Hartenstein here. Maybe sometime next week. So if you're in a deep league, I would still try to roll the dice with Isaiah Hartenstein. Again, he's one of those mini tawag dito, mini per minute guy. Okay, Milwaukee Bucks versus Atlanta Hawks. Panalo ang Atlanta Hawks. Pag-usapan lang natin si Giannis. So, Giannis had the usual Giannis, better free throw percentage, pero those free throws attempts is really very significant kasi compared dun sa mga weak type na free throw percentage players, masyadong madaming attempts kasi si Giannis. So, yun yung pumapatay sa kanya. So at least dito 80%, hindi mo natatanggihan 'yan. Solid na performance actually. Dun sa isa kong liga, Giannis is the one who siya yung dahilan kaya nanalo ko at medyo pumartida pa yun. Naiupo ko siya ng 2 game last week. So buti na lang gumawa pa rin siya. Akala ko uupo pa rin eh. Ako po, Giannis, salamat sa'yo. Anyway, going back, Brook Lopez seems to be helping at least. So, I don't think na droppable siya. If available siya sa tawag dito sa free agency nyo, you have to add him, especially if you need blocks. DiVincenzo for me could be a surprising add. alam ko ang Milwaukee Bucks has a solid later part of this week. So at the moment na pumasok na yung Wednesday, middle of the week, for me, if DiVincenzo is available, you have to add him. So mamaya pag-usapan natin yan kung bakit ganun yung strategy natin. And then, as usual, you have here Bobby Portis. If Giannis plays more, Bobby Portis doesn't play well. If Giannis plays more and tambak yung kalaban, Bobby Portis will play well. If Giannis doesn't play, and then Bobby Portis will explode. So, yun lang naman yung parang tinitingnan natin dito kay Bobby P. And then, other than that, wala naman akong super ads dito. Probably just um, maybe Forbes if you need snipes in deep leagues. He could be just, just in this team na kailangan mo na maybe. Timingan mo na lang dun sa time na sabaw yung kalaban ng Milwaukee Bucks. Atlanta Hawks pa pala. For Atlanta Hawks, wala pa rin si Trae Young. So, as usual, Bogey Bear, Bogdanovic, isa to sa mga gusto ko talagang player. Gumawa na naman. He has been killing it for the past weeks simula nung naging healthy siya. So, doon sa mga nagtiwala sa kanya and then doon sa mga nakaabot ng suggestion natin before na parang a week ago pa lang yon, tapos nabasa ko noon na nagpa-practice na siya. Talagang tinry ko siyang i-add sa lahat ng liga na available siya, which is konti lang kasi yung iba nasa IL eh. So, doon sa mga liga na available na nakuha ko siya. So, since then, nakatulong na siya sa team natin. Again, mabilis nalimutan ng lahat yung potential ni Bogdanovic. He's a really good player. I think this is his peak eh. Hindi na rin naman siya bata. So, if Atlanta is smart enough, kailangan mapiganan nila si Bogdanovic habang healthy pa siya. Other than that, usual suspects. Herter plays, John Collins plays well, Capela, so-so game. The rebound is still there, which is yun naman talaga yung hanap natin. Pero the blocks isn't there. Hindi din okay yung field goal percentage. Pero it's against Giannis, so understandable naman yan. Other than that, Goodwin didn't have a better game, pero the assist is still there. Yung kahati niya sa playmaking chores directly, si Lou Williams, mas okay yung ginawa. So 15 points and 6 assists. Pero as you can see, hindi nag-start yung dalawa. So playmaker din naman kasi si Herter sa si Bogdanovic eh. So I guess ganun yung diskarte. Ang ginawa na lang adjustment is to inangat nila si Solomon Hill. So si Tito Solomon gumagawa din. So if you need rebounds and maybe some snipes na konti lang at your lowest expectation, Solomon Hill is a decent stream for me. Indiana Pacers versus Orlando Magic. Panalo ang Indiana Pacers finally kasi they were medyo struggling ang Pacers if na-notice nyo, early and mid this season, humarurot sila eh. Parang alam mo, ang lakas talaga ni Sabonis, bumalik si Brogdon, etc. etc. Pero nung saktong halos pabalik na si LeVert, pababa na ng pababa yung laro nila. So, this several wins is pretty significant for the Indiana Pacers. There were news pa nga na nagkakaroon na sila ng issues internally eh. So, I hope maayos nila yan. Pero with that said, double check natin yung mga available na players dito. O'Shea, napag-usapan na natin yan. Again, as long as wala yung front court, you have to add O'Shea. Brissett, you have to add Jakar Samson. So ito yung mga players na to watch out. If Goga will be available, Goga is also an option. Bakit si Jakar Samson? Doon sa mga matagal na nagpa-fantasy and even yung mga bago pa lang, kung mapapansin yun before, actually, there are instances na mas ginagamit pa nila as backup si Jakar Samson over Goga eh. So, parang iniisip ko lang kahit na medyo hindi kataasan or hindi kalakihan itong si Jakar Samson. It seems like gusto nila yung presence niya in the defensive end. So, yun yung nabasa ko dyan. It's a good game for Edmund Sumner, 21 points. So, I guess this is something interesting, especially na wala nang ginagawa si Jeremy Lamb, tapos pababa na ng pababa ang laro ni Justin Holiday and Aaron Holiday. Wala naman siyang tinutulong ever since eh. So ngayon, magkakaroon ba ng value to si Edmund Sumner? For me, masyado pang maliit yung tawag dito, maliit yung pagkokomparahan, yung reference natin. Pero you have to understand that this is against Orlando Magic. So, if hindi ito Orlando Magic, I would assume na mas mabababat si TJ McConnell, mas mabibigyan ng playing time si Doug McDermott. So, yun yung take ko dito sa case ni Sumner. Pero still, um, nasa playoffs na tayo. Ano na 'to, hot potato game na 'to, eh. So, if hot siya tapos walang-wala ka na talaga, gusto mong sumugal, maybe Sumner, why not? Other than that, again, Justin Holiday, finally nagkaroon ng better game. Nung mga nakaraan, hindi okay yung stats niya, pero sana tumaas pa rin yung steals niya, eh. Para sa akin, siya yung isa sa solid na specific category itong si Justin Holiday. So, I hope maging consistent palalo yung steals niya kasi yun talaga yung natutulong niya. Saka snipe. So, sort of 3 and D. At least dito, nahuhulog yung mga tira niya. Nung mga nakaraan, sabaw, eh. For the Orlando Magic, straightforward din, eh. Ah, nakakaduda si Wendell Carter Jr. I hope magkaroon siya ng playing time moving forward for Orlando Magic kasi, 'pag binabasa ko yung strategy ni Orlando, um, baka mas gusto nila si Mamba. Maybe dahil alam na nila yung laro ni Wendell Carter Jr. Nakita na nila 'to sa Chicago Bulls, and then, buti naman nabibigyan na nila ng playing time ito si Bamba. So, dynasty-wise, um, torn pa rin ako. Of course, the upside is there for Wendell Carter Jr. Pero Bamba is still young. Hindi pa natin nakikita yung potential niya kasi never pa siyang nabibigyan ng laro, eh. To the point na lagi siyang hindi 100%. Putik tumakbo lang ng ilang minuto, nadadapa na, eh. So, yun yung questionable kay Bamba. Maybe his work ethic. Pero this is a pretty smart move for Orlando. Finally, binibigyan na nila ng playing time yung mga youngsters nila. So with that said, nakita nyo naman, more time for RJ Hampton. I really like this dude. At least he has the potential to be good in both ends of the court kasi medyo athletic din siya. Pero as long as andito si Cole Anthony, I don't think mabibigyan siya ng solid na playing time. Luckily for him, hindi naglalaro si Terence Ross. So, I don't think may incentive pa maglaro si si Kapitan, El Kapitan Terence Ross. So, with that said, you have to add RJ Hampton. He'll definitely help you maybe in points and sometimes in dimes and steals. Pero as of now, ang aasahan mo na lang diyan is makapaglaro lang siya at magkaroon ng minutes. Wala pa siyang specific na category na talagang gumagawa siya, eh. Okeke, kahit na hindi siya gumawa ng todo, para sa akin you have to add him. Masyadong solid yung potential niya to provide across the board stats. He's still raw, of course. So that's the reason why, kung magro-roll ka ng dice, doon na ako dun sa may minutes and my skill. So napag-usapan na natin yan last episode, eh. There are really players na kahit nabigyan mo ng 40 minutes, iba yung napa-provide na hindi nagta-translate yung ano, eh, yung fantasy game nila, eh. Sabaw, eh, hindi kasi sila super skilled. Pero meron naman na katulad ni for example ni Okeke o kaya ni D'Antino Melton, ayan, mga per minute guys natin. Dahil skilled sila, kahit na sabaw yung laro nila, hindi man sila umiscore ng malaki, mabibigyan ka nila ng 3 steals na hindi mo basta-basta makukuha sa ibang player. Lastly, if you need just points and maybe snipes, Gary Harris and Dwayne Bacon are also option. Maybe some Jason Randle dun sa mga mas malalim na liga. Pero si Harris nangingitlog, eh. Minsan bibigyan ka ng 14 points tas wala na, eh. So, gone are the days na hinahabol natin si Gas. Naalala ko pa nung medyo rookie sophomore pa yan. Hindi yan nawawala sa hindi yan nawawala sa dinadraft ko. Tapos after nung mga so iilang beses ko lang siya nakukuha. Nung mga sumunod na season na nakukuha ko na siya, nag-uumpisa na siyang mapilayan. So, hindi talaga pinagtatagpo nito ni Gary Harris. Sacramento Kings versus Golden State Warriors. Much needed win for Golden State. Talagang pumapalagpang Sacramento, no? For Sacramento Kings, finally Haliburton is playing well. As you can see, yung wala siyang usage, dahil low usage player lang siya, nabibigyan kanya ng decent stats, pero hindi eye-popping. Pero ngayon, nagbago na yung role niya. So, ang role niya, kailangan na niyang umiscore, kailangan na niyang mag-take charge kasi wala na sobrang laking kawalan na wala si Fox, eh. So, dahil diyan, 20 attempts mga paps. So, lahat ng mga Haliburton owners kailangan magdiwang. So, he did it efficiently. Imagine 24 points, 8 assists, 1 steal, 1 turnover. 100% on the line kaso dalawang attempts lang. 50% in the field goal percentage. So sobrang yun si Haliburton. So um for those managers, even those card collectors or even dun sa mga just usual fans, wag natin siyang hanapan ng katulad ni Lamelo or ni Anthony Davis na may mga eye-popping na stats kasi hindi siya yun eh. Dito kaya lang lumabas yan kasi wala si Fox. Pero doon sa pangkaraniwang laro, unless mabago yung rule niya sa Sacramento Kings, hindi niya basta-basta magagawa to regularly kasi low usage player siya eh. He'll definitely help the team efficiently and effectively as much as he can. Pero never siyang yung basta magbabakaw na magtititira. Hindi. Mataas ang IQ nitong batang to eh. He actually adjusts his game for to elevate other players dun sa team nila. So I hope talaga mabigyan ng chance itong si Haliburton maalagaan ng Kings kasi Diyos ko po, ang daming nagsisi at hindi dinrap si Haliburton. So Kings, sana baka naman, galing-galingan niyo naman ang pagmamanage. Anyways, we were expecting better game for Dillon Wright. This is not that game pero the 27 minutes is something to be to monitor kasi andun yung minutes, wala lang yung performance. Pero those 6 rebounds, 5 assists, almost Larry Nance na napo-provide, you have to still add Dillon Wright. In deep leagues, siguro, I would like to have a close look with Meto. Galing yan sa San Antonio Spurs eh, kaya kilala ko to. So, nakita nyo naman dito, in 17 minutes, nakapag-provide ng 2 steals, 3 blocks. So, if hindi na talaga sila makakapaglaro ng ibang players, for example, Whiteside hindi na pinaglaro, ang dami pang players na hindi nakapaglaro. Tapos habang wala pa si tawag dito, si Mr. Glass, I think baka makapag-carve pa ng decent minutes tong si Meto. So, deep leagues have a strong look. That goes as well with Mo Harkless. But I still think stat-wise, I would rather have Meto kahit konti lang yung minutes niya. Si Mo Harkless kasi blank yung stat line eh, most of the time. Okay, so yan yung mga games earlier. Tingnan naman natin yung ating weekly schedule. So, just to remind everyone, kung ano yung napag-usapan ng mga nakaraan, instead na hinandle natin yung pag-a-analyze natin ng weekly strategy natin na in terms of schedule, hinati na lang natin siya sa gitna. Ito kasi yung logic dyan mga paps. So, if isa lang yung streamer mo or dalawa, um, meron kang apat na add drops eh. Apat na moves at least uh, standard wise across all leagues. Siguro at the minimum dalawa. So for sure, meron kang i-move. So kung pagpaplanuhan mo yung i-add mo for the whole week, eventually mag-a-add drop ka din and dahil siya yung pinaka-weak mo, posibleng siya din yung i-drop mo. So dun sa mga cases na yun, mas masasuggest natin to approach the analysis in terms of schedule by cutting them into two. So first half, second half. Ito pa yung dahilan kung bakit. We have what we call pseudo back-to-backs. So majority of the times, every week, laging lesser yung games in the latter part of the week. Meaning, 8 games or lesser. So mas maganda mag-add. So it's a very good strategy if um, mag-stick ka dun sa mga players, dun sa mga padulo na ng games, and then dun sa mga initial part, dahil katulad nitong week na to, Monday and Wednesday, yung 11 at 10 games na yan, wala ka na, hindi mo magagamit yung mga players na yan eh. So dahil ganun yung situation natin dun sa early part ng week, it's better na wag ka na masyado mag-isip kung sino yung pinaka-solid na ad, yun na lang yung ad mo. So dun sa gitna, padulo, dun natin diskartehan. Kasi again, hindi din natin masasabi. Mamaya biglang magkaroon ng may ma-injured, may biglang ma-out. So pag nagkaroon ng ganong instances, mababago yung strategy din eh. So with that said, tingnan natin. So at least for this game, daily tomorrow, unfortunately, hindi na to applicable dahil wala na. Basta yung ad drop nyo. Pero pasadasan pa rin natin yan. Sa daily today, merong 11 games ngayon. So bugbog na bugbog itong Monday. So I hope puno yung lineup nyo. Kasi kung hindi puno yung lineup nyo, medyo dehado na kayo off the bat. Bakit? Kasi kita nyo, yung susunod na madaming games is 10 sa Wednesday saka sa Saturday. Maybe Friday and Sunday. Merong dalawang hindi masyadong puno na game. So that's the pseudo back-to-back of Tuesday, Thursday. So kung hindi na puno yung Monday mo, parehas pa kayong hindi nababawasan ng ad drop nung kalaban mo. Siya puno, lamangan na agad siya ng game sa'yo. So kahit mag-add ka ng madalas Tuesday, meron din siyang ad drop nun eh. Parehas lang kayo. Kung meron kayong 4 ad drops per week, ganun din siya. So kung puno na agad yung Monday niya, tapos hindi puno sa'yo, I think it kailangan mo nang mag-strategize kasi lamang na agad siya sa number of games. It doesn't necessarily mean na madali ka na niyang matatalo. Pero again, strength in numbers guys. So kahit na kung sinong Poncio Pilato pa yan na na-activate niya, may kakayahan niya na pumotok out of the blue. So, yun yung masaklap, yun yung bulag na sinasabi natin. So, pag nabulag, mabuti nang pumutok na lang yung core players niya, di ba? Matatanggap natin yun eh. Kasi ah, Jason Tatum pumutok, fine. Kasi wala eh, ganun talaga eh. Pero pag may pumutok na kunwari Bryn Forbes, nagsampung test, yun yung bulag. Medyo masakit-sakit yun. So, kailangan nating mag-strategize dun sa mga ganong cases. Wala tayong magagawa. So, umpisa pa lang naman ng week. So, marami pang pwedeng gawin dyan. So, for me, double check your lineups. Kung hindi kayo puno ng Monday, you have to consider several teams dun sa back-to-back. So, pinost ko na rin naman to. So, quickly explain lang natin. So, for example, yung mga 5 games na team, kasama agad na yan dyan. Kasama na agad yan sa listahan kasi meron na agad silang automatic na back-to-back sa umpisa ng week. So you have Dallas Mavericks, you have Oklahoma City Thunder, and you have Toronto Raptors. So yun, automatically, meron na agad silang back-to-back sa umpisa ng linggo. Pero meron din tayong iba pang team na may ganong case. So yun yung Minnesota Timberwolves. So wala silang, hindi sila 5 games, 4 games lang sila. Pero back-to-back agad sila sa umpisa ng week. So, the likes of Naz Reid, the likes of Rubio, just in case available pa siya. Josh Okogie, if you need steals. So, yung mga yan, actually, decent streamers sila dahil may back-to-back games. Again, especially dun sa mga teams na hindi puno yung Monday nila. So, ito para sa daily today to. Kasi unfortunately sa daily tomorrow, hindi ka na makakapag-add. Sino pa yung pwede nating i-add for daily today? So daily today, hindi na natin ma-apply yung pseudo back-to-back natin. Bakit? Dalawang madaming games yan eh. Kung magsusudo back-to-back na add ka, there's a chance na hindi mo siya magamit parehas. That's the reason why importante na bago ka mag-add drop kada linggo, checkin mo muna yung mga roster nyo, mga paps. Kasi nangyayari. Even sa akin nangyayari yan. Minsan, nabubulag ako na, uy, available sa ganito, i-add ko. Wala na akong pakialam kung ilan ang laro. Pagtingin ko, puno na pala yung yung lineup ko. So even kunwari kung Tuesday madami din or Wednesday madami din. So nagsayang lang ako ng ad drop. So ang mangyayari, hihintayin ko yung mga games ng latter part which is sana kung stream lang yan, sana late ko na lang siya inad or iba na lang yung tinignan ko. Kung season long na ad yan, it's a different thing. Pero playoffs na tayo eh. So majority of the time streaming na lang to eh. Even yung mga solid na players, ka-drop-drop na yan dahil in several situations. Okay, balik tayo sa mga daily today. So, doon sa mga daily today, aside doon sa may mga back-to-back na yon in different situations, hindi ko na iisa-isahin to, basta kung sino man may laro ngayon, you have to add them, especially if may bakante ka pang slot. Kung wala kang bakanting slot, wag kang alam mo yun, ma-OC na wala kang ginawang ad draft for today. Hayaan mo lang kasi madami talagang games. Doon sa mga daily tomorrow, pagplanuhan natin yung Tuesday, Wednesday mo. So ngayon, double check mo ngayon. Wednesday ko ba, puno ba to? Kasi 10 games yan eh. Kung hindi puno yan, o kaya for example, meron dyang mga out or game time decision, lagay mo muna sa IL Plus. Tapos, tingnan natin kung sino may mga back-to-back games. So, you can actually add someone from Boston Celtics. Unfortunately, sa bawang Boston. So, kung hindi mo kailangan ng rebound, huwag mo nang i-consider yung back-to-back ng Boston. Kasi, mga si Tristan lang mapapakanabangan natin dyan eh. Dito, back-to-back din ng Charlotte Hornets. So, maybe, for this team, may makukuha ka. So, you have the likes of Jalen McDaniels, sino pa ba? I think Cody Martin. So, yan yung mga pwede nating i-consider na i-add para sa Charlotte Hornets. Again, i-remind ko, applicable lang yan kung hindi puno yung Wednesday nyo. Kung puno yung Wednesday nyo, scrap nyo lahat ng pinag-usapan natin. Piliin nyo lang kung sino yung hot na free agent o kaya kung anong stat yung kailangan nyo. Importante yan mga paps kung anong stat yung mga kailangan nyo. At this point, kung limited lang yung ads nyo, kapag nag-add kayo ng player na hindi naman basta-basta makakatulong sa inyo, eh, kahit na pumutok yan, kunwari, nag 20 rebounds yan, eh malakas ka naman talaga sa rebound, technically, hindi siya nakatulong. Masaya ka lang. Uy, nalock mo na ang rebounds. Pero kung ima-minus mo yung 20 rebounds after the week, makikita mo, kahit wala yung 20 rebounds, talo mo na din pala siya. So, nasayang yung ad drop. So that's the reason why yung unang-unang episode natin for the playoffs grind, in-explain ko agad kung paano nyo i-identify yung strengths and weakness nyo ng team. Na hindi ko na rin masyado nagagawa dahil busy ako. Pero dun sa may mga time, for me, it's a solid approach. Especially kung hindi kayo nagtutools. So anti-tool yan. Doon sa, para mabulagan nyo yung mga, mga nagtutool na yan. Saka nagsusubscribe. Papapalagan natin yan with just using that approach. Okay, sino pa ba? Portland Trailblazers. Unfortunately again, mga paps. So mukhang sabaw na sabaw talaga yung early part natin dahil short din ang rotation ng Portland Trailblazers. If may nag-drop ng Enes Kanter, which possibly I doubt, pwede siyang add kasi back to back to, hindi maglalaro si Nurk. Other than that, baka Carmelo Anthony lang ang pwedeng i-add eh. Wala na tayong pwedeng i-add dyan. So dun sa mga daily tomorrow, mukhang in this first half of the week, doon lang tayo sa mainit na mga players saka best available players saka doon sa mga stats na kailangan nyo. So yun yung suggestion ko. So dun sa latter part saka na natin pag-usapan maybe tomorrow as the days goes by. Pero ang masasabi ko lang dito, aside dun sa mga 5 game teams, ang daming solid na teams. Actually hindi naman madami. May additional 3 na solid na teams. Lalo na kung sa second half. As you can see here, Brooklyn Nets, last 4 games, 3 out of 4 ang games nila. So solid ang Brooklyn Nets. Solid din ang Houston Rockets. Same case. At solid din ang Milwaukee Bucks. So despite na good news to in general, para dun sa mga merong Giannis Antetokounmpo, John Wall, at um, Kyrie Irving at Kevin Durant, bad news yun. Kasi merong back to back sa dulo ng week. So meron kayong mga ganong player, tapos wala kayong IL plus, eh masakit sa banks mga paps dahil uupo sila for sure. So, sana magkaroon ng malaking chance na makapaglaro sila pero hindi ganun yung nangyayari. So yun mga paps, yun yung schedule review natin. Punta na tayo ngayon sa ating Q&A. Switch lang tayo ng ng view para naman maganda-ganda yung maganda-ganda yung view natin. Ipakita ulit natin yung ating usual background na daily playoffs natin. Pero yan, nakakita na ako ng maraming questions. If you're watching this via YouTube, Facebook page, and our fantasy group, comment lang kayo. Definitely babasahin ko yan. And sasagutin natin yan. If you have something to just, want to talk about, kahit na tungkol pa yan sa Jamil, try natin pag-usapan yan. Though hindi ako updated sa mga ganong bagay. Okay. Uy, ito si Facebook user, talagang avid. Hindi ko nakikita, hindi ko alam kung bakit. Siguro baka hindi pa tayo connected. Pero kung sino ka man, yes, let's go. Playoffs mode na tayo mga paps. Horace Floyd, if you are still watching this, let me try to answer your question. Would you drop Rubio for those year? At this point, there are several considerations. Number one, why? Do you have a specific stat that you need from those year or Rubio? If generally you just want to add a hot player, yes, of course. Looking at it, if you compare the two players, aside from Dimes, I guess those year has more upside from Rubio. Kasi I mean, there are no incentive for the Minnesota Timberwolves to give more playing time to Rubio compared to those year, who is actually stepping up because Will Barton is out and Morris is out as well. So I guess the upside is still there. Number two consideration, double check the schedule. So looking at it, if it's specifically for Rubio and Dozier, I would assume that either Rubio or Dozier, once you add him, they are one or top two or three of your end of the bench players, right? So if that's the case, these are streaming slots. So with that said, you still have to consider the schedules. I mean, adding players during playoffs doesn't mean when you add a specific player, you have to stick with him the whole week, right? So there will be changes in strategy for sure. Knock on the wood, if there will be injuries and maybe someone better from the free agent, you might have to drop them as well. So with that said, just try to double check those considerations. The stat that you need, the schedule, and then also the number of ads that you want. Because if this is just a streaming ad, and then just look at the actual matchups for this week. So let me double check that for you. For Minnesota Timberwolves, they have back to back, so that's probably an ad for you to actually choose Rubio over Dozier. Denver has only one game in the first games, so Minnesota is also going to play against Houston, which is a favorable matchup. So I guess early part of the week might be Rubio, especially if you need those dimes. But but in the middle part of the week, Denver has a back-to-back game for Wednesday, Thursday. So it's kind of a different story. So there will be a situation wherein you have to add Rubio. No, you have to stick with Rubio for the first two games and then add Dozier um, after the second game. So that can be a solid approach because whoever adds Dozier this week, he will definitely uh will probably drop Dozier after Tuesday because they don't have a game after that. So well, that's the case for me. Um, I understand that those year stats was eye popping. So I mean, adding him is like a sort of like a must add. But again, if you have you understand your team's strength and weaknesses, there might be a few more considerations before adding those here. So yeah, I hope that helps, and I hope it's also clear. I kind of wing a lot of information there. Papi John Edel for late ads pap. So um later part of the week ba yan? So ayun, pinost na lang natin yan, may mga post tayo diyan. Pero general ads lang 'yun. Depending pa rin yun sa matchup. So yun yung mga bagay na pag-uusapan natin on a daily basis. Papi Marco, good evening. Papi, what's up? Ayun, nadagdagan pala. Late ad Paps, Green, Wilson, Jordan, and Griffin. Two spot pa need ko for streamers. Thanks, Papi Roy. Shout out sa Barus. Fantasy League Season 4. Oh, shout out Barus. Nakaka-Season 4 na kayo. Guest naman kayo dito. Share kayo ng mga ganap dyan sa liga nyo. Okay, so late ads. For me, at least, well, again, considering your team, you have to understand what stats do you need, right? If you're going to just check the schedule out of this group, I would probably lean on Griffin and then Wilson and then Jordan, unless you need those rebounds. Why Griffin? Brooklyn has a solid later part of the week schedule, like I've mentioned earlier. And then I think I'm assuming na kailangan niya mag-step up, especially when KD won't play or Kyrie won't play. So he's gonna be that second scorer in the team. I think Jeff Green can do that. Tito Joe Harris can do that, but there's a reason why they got Griffin. And then if he has some juice left, I think this is the best time. Gusto niya mag-champion eh. So kailangan niya ng tulong. So that's the reason why gusto ko si Griffin. And of course, Griffin is provides a across the board value in the PF center position. So for me, it's also something na kino-consider ko. So after that, it's gonna be DJ Wilson just for the upside. So similar to Brooklyn, okay din yung schedule ng Houston sa late part ng week. But Wilson's upside is dependent if Wood plays. So if Wood plays and Wall plays, then mas makakapag-provide ba ng value tong si DeAndre Jordan kaysa kay Wilson. Pero just for the benefit of the upside and Houston Rockets, they don't have the incentive to play more Wall and Wood, 'di ba? So siya yung second na option ko. So si Griffin kaya ko lang siya pinili dahil mas sure yung makukuha mo. And then lastly Jordan. Jordan is a good add if you need those rebounds and maybe blocks and field goal percentage. But other than that, medyo limited or too trick phony yung stats na nabibigay ni DeAndre Jordan eh. That's the reason why mas type ko or mas trip ko si Griffin over Wilson. So yan. For now, I don't think na okay na i-add siya agad-agad yung dalawa. Feel ko mid na mag-add kasi ang Brooklyn isa lang ang laro in next three days. That goes as well with Houston. So for me, nasa sa'yo na yan kung gusto mong risk yung check na hindi makuha. Pero isang game out of 3 days eh. It's a big decision. Ako personally, I would definitely risk that decision kasi hindi naman ako matutulungan nung isang game unless dalawa yung streamer mo. So different case yun. Kung isa yung streamer mo, you have to be strategic. Kung dalawa yung streamer mo, why not? Kunin mo na siya kasi makakatulong naman siya ng buong linggo kasi 4 naman din yung games niya. So iba-iba talaga. So yung mga tips natin and suggestions, hindi siya applicable in every situation. Papi Marco, Kawhi na doubtful 3 games or Beasley na 5 games. Obviously Beasley for me. Actually that 3 games doubtful, it's gonna be 2 games because Clippers will be playing on Monday. And that game is part of the I guess 3 games out, right? I think. Correct me if I'm wrong. So if that's the case, 2 games versus 5 games, you have to go with the 5 games. I just hope na gumawa pa rin si Beasley. Pero I think as long as Beasley provides 12 points, 5 rebounds, 1 snipe, 1 steal in all of those 5 games, that trumps the 2 or 3 games of Kawhi. Also, I guess kung weekly update, it's hard because if it's a must win and it's a weekly update, it's a game of numbers eh. If it's a daily update, then you have to just, utilize your streaming slot. And then wag mo idadrop si Kawhi or wag mo siyang i-inactivate. I-activate mo pa rin siya. So dahil mamimili ka sa dalawa, I assume weekly update to. Kasi kung daily update, I don't think hindi siya ganun kakomplikadong issue. Pero yun ang yung case ko diyan. Generally, I would probably add Paisley. Nasagot na natin 'to eh. Parang kwentahin mo na lang Paps personally kasi baka naman iba yung approach mo dito. Pero ako, ang gagawin kong approach dito, what could be the best case scenario for Kawhi? Let's double check that. They are going up against Phoenix and Denver. So, despite being the best player in the Los Angeles Clippers, maybe he won't go off as usual. So, let's say 25 points on an average. Fair enough, right? So, 50 points for 2 games. Probably 75 points for 3 games. If Beasley averages what? 15 points so times 5, almost the same, right? So, yun na lang yung diferensya dyan. So, you have to project that in that manner para hindi ka masyado kabahan. Papi JCJ, so what's up, brother? Scariest time of the season is this week, crunch time. Hi, Papiro. Yeah, it's going to be scary, especially if you are JCJ. So, he's one of the most tenured fantasy players that I've known in my whole fantasy career. My good brother. I'm gonna create a Mr. Tao and I will definitely have another gig this week. So watch out for that, Papi JC. Also, unfortunately, my page was something happened technically, so I wasn't able to post content for quite some time. So I'll definitely create more for our foreign friends. Papi Facebook user, what's up? Start po boss Kawai. Double check natin. Feeling ko damay yung ano eh, na hindi siya maglalaro eh. Pero pinakamaganda niyan, check mo yung updates at the end of the minute. Ang masaklap lang kasi niyan mga paps. Kung wala kang ibang players, kunwari si Kawhi nasa IL plus or nasa IL, tapos wala kang ibang player, kunwari daily tomorrow ka, wala ka nang magagawa unless meron kang ibang players na may game time decision or out na status. So mas switch mo siya doon sa IL Plus. Pero kung wala talaga, hindi mo na ma-activate si Kawhi. Kasi kung nasa IL yan, you have to drop someone to activate him. Eh, kung daily tomorrow ka, wala na. Kasi nakalipas na yung shift ng ano natin, day eh. Sa daily to day, pwede ka pang humabol. So, yun yung case kay Kawhi. So, again, this is playoffs na naman. You have to exert some effort to, monitor those news. Papi Bernard, are there any instances where you have completely different analysis or strategy with other popular fantasy analysts like Josh Lloyd? Do they influence your analysis in any way? Actually, as of the moment, it's been like weeks or months na hindi ako nakikinig ng ibang references eh. So, if there will be instances na meron akong same analysis, nagkataon lang 'yun kasi hindi na ako nakakapakinig personally kasi busy tayo, hindi na ako nakakapaglabas ng content, eh. So these are just actual analysis. If you'll check our episodes, we're doing it impromptu. So walang preparation, kung anong may tanong binabasa na lang natin and then nagbibigay tayo ng cases. So, if it's actually similar to other analysts, then, probably it's because, we're seeing something obvious. Pero for sure meron akong different na strategies and cases. So for example, si Josh Lloyd mabilis siyang mag-decide, eh, ng ad drop. Sino pa ba yung ibang references natin? Probably kay Josh Lloyd na lang dahil malaki ang utang na loob natin diyan na siya na yung ating entrance song. So si Papi Josh Lloyd, at this point mabilis siya mag-cut. Si Keldon Johnson nga way back mabilis niya kinat, eh. So ako, um, medyo nagdi-dig in ako dun sa matchups at saka dun sa tendencies ng mga player. So siguro wala na siyang time to further analyze. So ako kasi, um, mas mahaba yung PC ko. So isa yun sa mga difference. Sunod, depending sa situation, hindi din ako basta-basta nag-a-add dun sa mga hot players. Lalo na kung hindi ko kilala yung karakas nila o kaya may natatandaan ako na performances nila before. So medyo mas based ako dun sa historical na natatandaan ko. Pero unfortunately for me, hindi katulad ni na Josh Lloyd, wala tayong tools, wala tayong kahit ano. So doon for sure, malaki yung percentage na may ma-miss out ako, ma-delay ako o kaya magkamali ako. Pero if I know kung gaano siya ka-solid, for example, KBJ, isa tayo dun sa mga unang nagsabi na watch out niyo yung mga ano, eh, mga G League guys kasi in every season meron talagang pumuputok coming from the G League. So, kapag tiwala ako dun sa player skill-wise, kahit hindi ko pa nakikita, si Josh Lloyd hesitant siya, na-add si KPJ. Ako, roll the dice agad ako, eh. Kasi for me, wala, eh, wala na naman ding parang it won't hurt you. Unang-una hindi naman playoffs 'yun, isang ad drop lang 'yun. So, gasino ng sumugal ka. So, for me, 'yun yung mga differences namin. And then si Josh Lloyd galit, hindi naman galit, hindi niya talaga trip si Hassan Whiteside. So, ako, there are instances na binibigyan ko ng chance kasi for me, generally, iba-iba yung situations ng mga GMs, eh. So, papaano kung wala ka talagang, alam mo yun, hilaw na yung i-add mo. Tapos nakita mo injured si Holmes o kaya limited minutes si Holmes or whatnot. For me, magiging option pa rin sa'kin si Hassan Whiteside. Kasi, alam mo yun, wala, eh. Yun yung reality, eh. Wala ng option yung GM, tapos kailangan na niya mag-add. So, kung hahanap ako ng option, dahil si Hassan Whiteside, eh, kaya mag-provide ng top 50 stats despite being poor of a player, I would rather add him. Kasi naman, tenggahan ko lang siya, di ba? So, may differences pa rin kami. Siguro isa sa mga nagkakaparehas lang kami kasi sakto Spurs fan ako. So si Josh Lloyd ay paborito niya si Derek White. So yun, yung mga pagkakaparehas namin siguro. Tapos mahilig ako sa defensive player. So isa sa mga yan, Tim Duncan, idol ko yan. Tapos si Dennis Rodman, Scottie Pippen, yung mga defensive player. Ngayon, ang fantasy kasi, especially si Josh Lloyd, ang strategy niya, especially ng scouting, chine-check niya yung performances ng mga players nung college pa lang. So, the moment na college player ka, tapos defensive player ka, for sure, I'm 100% sure, nasa scouting report ka na ni Josh Lloyd. Nasa listahan ka na niya na posibleng pumutok. Kaya high siya kay Okongwu, kaya medyo low siya dun sa mga katulad ni Anthony Edwards. Kasi defensive stat wise nung college hindi sila okay eh. So I guess yun yung mga differences and similarities namin. Pero sobrang solid na questions nito, Papi Bernard. You gave me the chance to share how I analyze stuff. Of course, nung bago pa lang tayo, late ko na nakilala si Josh Lloyd, to be honest. Solo-solo analysis lang tayo nung mga una. Sama yung mga tropa. Shoutout kay Papi KP from the KPTV vlogs kasi siya yung nag-introduce sa akin. Late bloomer din tayo. So, hindi may iwasan na meron tayong fina-follow. Simula nung kung ginawa natin yung FBPH, I try my best not to be influenced by them kasi yun yung branding natin eh. Yun yung pride natin dito sa FBPH. I'm trying to give a something with a Filipino flavor. Kaya medyo strong yung passion ko diyan to provide you guys raw analysis from my own. Ayan. Uy, Papelo, what's up? Ano tingin mo kay Edmund Sumner? Yun, nasagot na natin yun kanina. For me, he's a hot player pero yung explosion niya was against Orlando. So bibigyan ko ng pass yun. I have to see more for me to stick. Pero dahil playoffs na yan, I understand na medyo mainit sa mata si Sumner. If walang-wala na talagang option, Paps, and alam mo yun, willing ka to like roll the dice, sure, why not? Pero if you want to get more, sabihin nating more guaranteed value, I might look at other options compared to Edmund Sumner. I understand there's an upside there, pero doing a pretty good job against Orlando, tas yung iba okay na tawag dito na game lang. Um, Hindi pa ako super bought in. At least as a priority Pero kung na generally, do I add Edmund Sumner? Ang sagot ko dyan, sure. Kasi maganda yung pinapakita niya. Ano yan eh, more of like expectation yan mga paps. At this point, doon magkakatuloy yan eh. If you're expecting someone na hindi usual na starter to provide solid value, I think you're expecting too much. Kasi at any point in time, pwedeng hindi bigyan din ng minutes yan. The same way, kaya maraming emotional saka discouraged to stick on Chris Boucher. Kasi yun yung case ni Chris Boucher. People are expecting him to provide consistent values. Pero he can't do it. Kasi special yung situation niya. So, ganun din yan dito sa mga ad drops. That's my perspective. Papi Aiken, Paps worth the pick ba si Osman? Kahit parang may head injury si Sexton. If it's concussion, he could miss more time. Yeah, I do agree. Though game time decision na si Sexton. Pero nung wala si Sexton and even Garland before, gumagawa talaga si Osman eh. Pero ang iniisip ko na lang kasi ano yung incentive ng Cavs para bigyan pa ng exposure si Osman. Parang mas hahayaan ko magwalwal si Garland or maybe bigyan ko ng chance na D-Wade. So, it's not like a game-changing ad. Pero if ang tanong lang is it worth? Maybe. Maybe lang ang sagot ko. I think you can find better options. Kasi speculative ad ka na rin lang. Hanapin mo na yung pinakamalaking upside. Uy, Kumish, Papi Borge. Congrats sa making sa playoffs. Actually, di ko plano yun. Gusto ko lang talagang, tawag dito, i-up si Triple J. So, sa Dynasty League namin to. Dun sa isang elite namin, ako, swerte nyo, hindi ako nakapasok dun. Malakas yung lineup ko dun. Hindi ko kasi naayos eh. Natalo tayo ng 0.5. So, coming from the bottom tayo, medyo injured lagi yung mga players ko dun. So, naghabol lang ako nung mid-season. Nakahabol ako, pero kulang. Sinukat pero kulang. Pero maganda sana yung lineup ko dun sa elite eh. Mambabasag sana yan. Pero dito sa Dynasty, mukhang hanggang round 1 na lang ako dito, Papi. Kalaban, ang lakas to kalaban ko, si Papi Mike. At saklap. Alam mo naman yung team ko, malakas lang sa papel dahil may Durant, may tawag dito. Sino ba yung mga players ko? May Thomas Bryant ako nung una. May John Wall. May Time Lord. So, malakas sana, pero laging injured eh. So, I think, masusurpresa ako kapag nakalagpas ako ng round 1. Actually, hindi ko na didiskartehan yun eh. Hayaan ko na lang. Hayaan ko na lang pusuan nila. Homes, okay ba i-field? Paano i-field? Hindi ko sure yung i-field, pero naglalaro si Holmes, so I think you have to activate him. Sumner or Malidon? Games-wise, definitely Malidon. Kasi Indiana Pacers only has 3 games, Papi KP. And then Malidon has 5 games. So for me, Malidon. Pero again, sa pinag-usapan natin ng strategy kanina, there could be an approach wherein you'll add Sumner first half and then Malidon second half. Hindi, actually, balikan natin yung Indiana. Hindi ko sure kung ano yung mga laro nila. So Indiana, pangat yung laro ng Indiana kasi biyak na biyak. If you can add both, why not? Pero for me, Malidon, I'm pretty sure dun sa 5 games niya, may sabaw na game dun. Pero 5 games is still 5 games eh. And if you look at OKC, yung kalaban ng OKC is mabigat pala yung kalaban ng OKC. At least may kalaban silang Indiana saka um, Pelicans Thursday, Saturday. Siguro Malidon muna ako. Though, yun nga, kung meron ka bang ibang madadrop, i-drop mo na lang, no? Shout out to you, KBTV. Supportan niya. Salamat sa motor, Paps. Yung pala yung ka-trade ko na Triple J over Lonzo. So, para sa akin, fair naman yun kasi ito naman ginagawa ng dalawa. Magkakatalo na lang yung next season. Papi Norman, Wendell Carter Jr. or Adams? Wendell Carter Jr. Upside-wise, let's double check yung schedule, at least for this week. Orlando has 4 games, back-to-back ng Friday, Saturday. It's against Lakers, Cleveland, Memphis. Okay, good schedule for Orlando. New Orleans Pelicans, it's gonna be against Clippers, Denver, masakit. Okay, si Minnesota. So, for me, Orlando, masakit yung kalaban nila, Clippers versus Denver sa umpisa. So, feel ko mas madaming magagawa si Wendell Carter this week. And actually, at least for the rest of the season, I think Wendell Carter also has a better upside. Actually, naging droppable na nga at some point si Adams eh. Ngayon, more of like two-trick phony na lang siya. Papi, 12 team 9 cat head-to-head. Need to drop one to activate Jonas Valanciunas. IL Brolo, Rocco Schroeder, or Cole Anthony na nagpapalaglag sa akin sa isang liga. Mabigat to kasi lahat tumutulong. Ang pinaka inconsistent siguro si Brolo. It's gonna boil down to what category your team needs. If hindi masyado kailangan ng blocks, I would rather have Rocco Schroeder and Cole Anthony over Brolo. Just because Rocco can win you several stats, especially steals, kahit nasabaw siya dun sa ibang category. Though may mga instances na so lang yung pinoprovide niya, pero at least may kakayahan siyang pumutok nun. Schroeder, the same. Hanggat walang LeBron, may kakayahan siyang makapag-provide ng value. And then Cole Anthony, siya na talaga yung starting point guard. So looking at it, if hindi mo kung kailangan mo talaga ng blocks, you have to choose between Schroeder and Cole Anthony. Maybe that's Cole Anthony. Pero generally, I think it's gonna be Brolo. So pipili ako ng isa, Poku, Roby, Adams, or Holmes. So let me rank this one. It's gonna be Holmes, Poku, Roby, and Adams. So if you want to drop someone, it's gonna be Adams. If you want to, at least for this week, if you're gonna be adding someone, it's gonna be Holmes. Let me check. Medyo na-scroll down natin. Na-scroll down natin ng malalayo, ano. Eto. Thoughts on Flynn. Stick pa rin ako dun sa analysis natin ng isang araw. If you in deeper leagues, you have to add him. Roll the dice move na, mga paps. 5 games is 5 games. Kung 5 minutes lang siya dun sa 5 games, masakit yun. Pero good thing, may laro sila ng back-to-back ng Monday, Tuesday. So for me, generally, you have to monitor the games to lay tomorrow and the Tuesday. Basta yung Monday, Tuesday, monitor natin. Kasi back-to-back yun. So makikita natin yung approach ng Toronto. Sana matalo sila ng dalawang sunod. Wala, Paps. Sa shallower leagues, kunwari, 10 deep lang kayo or even 12. Mapapaisip din ako, baka hindi ko siya i-consider. Rudiger or Craig tomorrow? Let me double check. So Craig, ang kalaban ng Phoenix is New York. Not a good matchup. Ang kalaban ng sino isa? Ni Tito Rudy. San Antonio is playing Washington. I assume parehas kasi nakakapag-provide to ng almost across the board stats, no? Mas okay yung upside ni Craig. He's younger, he provides better stats cumulatively, pero rot wise, it's gonna be Gay. Mas known din si Gay. So for me, if we're actually sure that Saric and Tito J won't play, hindi ko pa double check kung talagang out na sila. Um, I would say Craig just because of the upside, despite playing against New York Knicks. Baka Craig ako. If you want to be safe, it's definitely Rudy Gay. Pero at this point, I don't want to be safe. Gusto ko ng bear. So, ayun. Facebook user, Plumlee or Powell? 5 games si... Well, depende to So, kung Norman Powell to, depende kung anong stats na gusto mo. Pero I assume this is Dwight Powell. If this is Dwight Powell, 5 games ang Dallas game time decision ng si Maxi Kleber. So posible siya magkaroon ng value, right? 3 games lang din ng Detroit. Hindi pa natin sure kung maglalaro lahat si Plumlee. Schedule wise, I might pick Dwight Powell. If this is just a stream move, hindi ka mag-stick sa buong linggo. Detroit, ano man laro ng Detroit? May laro agad siya. If that's the case, I might try to play 1 game of Mason Plumlee. Kasi solid si Mason Plumlee, Paps. Hindi ko ibibigay yun. Tapos game time decision si Kleber. So baka 1 game ni Plumlee, makakuha ka man lang ng solid na stats. Tapos pwede ka nang sumagal kay Powell. Guys, Dwight Powell, you only get field goal percentages kay Powell, maybe points. Yun yung strength niya. Kung may lumabas na blocks dyan and rebounds, addition na lang yun. Tumitira din ng tres yan. So, Plumlee offers more stats. So, it's up to you kung ano yung mas kailangan ng team mo. Pero generally, I might stick with Plumlee Generally. Mabigat kasi pag naglalaro ng solid si Plumlee, solid yung stats niya. Si Dwight Powell, isa sa pinakamahirap na gawin consistently is maintaining your field goal percentage. So kung yun yung main na may offer niya. Tapos may Willie Cauley-Stein pa dyan. Tapos kung maglalaro si Kleber, so bababa yung value niya. Kawhi or Bazley for the week? I guess nasagot na natin to kanina, Pap. So for me, generally Bazley. Magdedepende yan kung makakapaglaro si Kawhi mamaya. Bukas pala. Flynn or DiVincenzo? I would be strategic on this by playing Flynn on the first half of the season, of the week, and then adding DiVincenzo dun sa gitna. Kasi maganda yung schedule ng Milwaukee sa gitna Tapos, mas maganda yung schedule ni Flynn sa umpisa. Pero if you have to add, parehas silang available. Kung parehas silang available, yun yung strategy. If you own Flynn, wag mo munang i-add si DiVincenzo. So, yun. If you own DiVincenzo, I hope may isa ka pang streaming slot para sugalan si Flynn. Guys, si Flynn sugal lang ngayon yan. Especially hindi natin alam ang direction ng Toronto. If we have to do like, hulaan or to choose, I think they will try to win, maybe. So if that's the case, it's a bad omen for Malachi Flynn. Drop ko na ba si Caleb or Tadyang planning to get Powell? For me, nope. 4 games din naman ng Cleveland, di ba? 4 games ng Cleveland at Chicago. Chicago 4 games, Cleveland 4 games. Parehas na parehas yung Ah, schedule nila, um, mas okay yung schedule ng Cleveland kaysa kay Bulls, pero hindi naman sobrang sama. Actually, masama pala yung naku, delikado palang Bulls. Mabibigat yung kalaban nila this week. So, still, hindi pa rin ako basta-basta magtitiwala kay Dwight Powell. Just because, hindi pa natin alam kung maglalaro. Kasi kung out na talaga si Kleber, mas malaki yung chance na pwedeng piliin ko si Powell. Pero dahil 5 games Pero kahit na 5 games yan, isang game lang yung difference nila eh. Eh ma-out value ni Caleb sa kanitad niyang itong si Dwight Powell. Kasi mas fantasy wise, mas madaming napoprovide na stats si Caleb sa si Tadia. Kasi kay Powell. Again, si Dwight Powell, ano yan eh. Field goal percentages. Tapos yung iba, plus na lang yan. Papi Christian, ayun, kakauwi lang from work. Ayun, Paps, pahinga ka muna, saka dinner. Papi Rondel, for tomorrow games, Okeke, Tadyang, Brown, who to sit down? Um, First question, anong stats ang kailangan mo? I hope na panood mo yung primer episode natin. Next consideration, matchup. So, tingnan natin. Okeke, Tadyang. So, Chicago will go against Miami. Not a good team to, play against. Pero, wala na, short naman yung rotation ng Bulls and this is a must win week for the Bulls. So I guess magkakaroon pa rin ng playing time si Tadia. For Okeke, Orlando is going against Clippers, a better matchup for him. So good sign for Okeke and for Brown. I assume this is Moses Brown. Back to back agad, so lamang agad siya doon. And it's going to be against Philly. So I'm pretty sure um magkakaroon siya ng playing time. Kahit mag-start si Bradley kasi against sa former team niya, okay pa din. Kasi it's a, if Embiid plays, lalong okay. Kasi mapa-fall trouble either doon sa kanila eh. So almost sure na 20 minutes unless may planong ibang OKC. So, yun yung mga considerations natin. Generally, I would say Okiki kasi across the board siya at may minutes siya. Kung hindi lang ako medyo nag-aalangan sa minutes ni Tito Tad sana. Pero kasi mas sure yung minutes ni Okiki. So parang kung titimbangin ko kahit na mas gusto ko si Tito Tad, masyadong limited yung minutes niya. Tapos against Miami pa, baka mag-Okiki ako dito. Pero kung kailangan mo ng rebounds lang, Moses Brown for sure. So it's gonna depend on the importante yan, Paps, hindi lang kasi at this point dapat hindi tayo blinded kung doon sa mga ad drop. Kailangan lagi may purpose yung mga ad drop. Uy, Papi Marco, Holmes or Nurkic weekly lineup. Teka. Portland, may back-to-back sila sa Tuesday, Wednesday. Tapos ang Sacramento, Biak, pares lang may 4 games. So 3 games lang si Nurkic. And that's against Memphis. That's against Brooklyn and Boston. Kung maglalaro si Time Lord doon, medyo pangit. Tapos, ang Sacramento Kings, sakto lang. 2 beses against Dallas, against Utah at Lakers. So, for me, probably Holmes. Nag-boil down ako doon sa number of games. Almost dikit sila, pero dahil lamang ng game si Holmes. And then, mas medyo okay ng konti yung matchup, baka si Holmes. Drop na ba si Miles Turner? Para sa akin, kahit na, alam mo yun, especially kung wala kang IL sa IL Plus, para sa akin, oo. Kung may IL at IL Plus ka, tapos kaya mo pang itenga doon, stick ka muna. Ito, nasagot na natin to. Wendell Carter Jr. yung pinili natin dyan. Di talaga kasya master. Epat silang pwede kong palitan sa lineup. It's a toss between Birch, DFS, and Roby. Probably DFS ang pipiliin ko dito. Kasi malaki yung chance na umupo ng 2 beses si 5 games ng Dallas, tapos uupo na 2 beses si KP, uupo pa na 1 beses si Luka. So, mas DFS ako. Rubio or Campazzo, need assist. Probably Campazzo. Minnesota 4 games, back to back. Denver. So generally, it's gonna be Campazzo. Number of minutes lang ang pilian, ang inisip ko dyan. Medyo up and down yung minutes ni Rubio eh. Pero, best approach, first 2 games, kunin mo si Rubio. After mag-shift ng day ng Tuesday, kalaban ng Minnesota Houston, after nun, kunin mo naman si Campazzo. Para ang dami nung assist na makukuha mo. Saktong-sakto eh. Week 19 is our championship round. Who would you be more inclined to draft if you have to choose one? Trey or Fox? Ang alam ko, I think Trey Young, weeks pa eh. Walang specific na days eh. Si Fox, alam ko 10 days, no? Balikan kita dyan, Paps. I think the best way to approach this is, given that it's still on week 19, we have to wait for those news. We don't have to, push ourselves to do a decision right now kasi week 19 pa naman yan. Pero best case scenario dyan is we have to wait for more specific news in the upcoming days before your championship week. Balikan natin yan, Paps. I-remind mo sa akin. What's good? Looking to solidify a win this semis. Who to line up? Points leagues to, no? 12-team weekly set. Capella, Olinik, or Barnes. So first off, pag points leagues, I have to get those averages just to have a big comparison. Pero dahil wala naman tayong time to do that, let's just try to do it generally. So Capella, Olinik, or Barnes. Atlanta. Okay. Tingnan ko lang ang Houston. And then, ano pa yung isa? Barnes, Sacramento. For me, there's, I think, Olinik. Just because, gagawa pa rin siya kahit wala andyan si Wood, saka si Wall. 4 games sila, pero may back-to-back games sila. So, there's a chance na out of those 4, may isa pang game na puputok siya ng todo over kay Capella sa kay Barnes. Capella, alam natin na biglang magte-2020 yan. Pero tiningnan ko kasi yung kalaban nila. It's against Philly, Detroit, saka Chicago. So Chicago yung pinaka okay na laro niya. Doon sa dalawang Philly game, medyo mapapalaban siya doon eh. Si Barnes naman, up and down din kasi si Barnes eh. So for me, at least Olinik mas up tempo pa yung laro ng Houston. Ngayon wala si Fox eh. So siya na halos yung nagtitimon. Pero generally, aside from picking Olinik, you have to check the averages for the fantasy points depending dun sa anong format ng liga mo. As guide. Lahat naman sila for 4 games per week. Good pick up pa si Poco this week, yes, kasi 5 games. I'm against our league's top seed. Sugal sana upside ni Poco. Yes, I would do that if I have a chance. Maglaro kaya this week si Lavin at Hayward. Siguro mas malaki yung chance ni Hayward. Pero again, we have to wait for the actual news. Kapag may nabalita tayo dyan, ipopost agad natin. Nung mga nakaraan kasi may issue yung page natin eh. Kaya hindi natin na-post. For this week, Garrett Trent or Kendrick Nunn. Though Toronto has 5 games and Miami has, I think, 4 games against Chicago, San Antonio, Cleveland, Charlotte. Kendrick Nunn, Paps. Papi JT, drop Goodwin for Reggie Jackson. Paps, 3 games lang ang Clippers. So kung hindi mo pa nagagawa yan, ibig sabihin 2 games na lang yung ilalaro ni Reggie Jackson. Kasi kung daily tomorrow ka, wala na, hindi ka na makakapag-add eh. So I would rather have Goodwin if that's the case. Pero kung daily today ka, may laro mamaya ang Clippers at posibleng wala si Kawhi, so maybe him. Tapos saka ka na lang maglalaro kasi ang Clippers ng Monday to Wednesday, ganun din naman ang Atlanta. So palaruin mo muna si Ajax ng Monday, Wednesday, tapos pulutin mo si Goodwin ulit ng Friday, Saturday kasi may back-to-back games ang Atlanta. So pwedeng strategy 'yun. Pero legit na drop lang, mapapaisip ako kasi kung ngayon mo pa lang siya i-add, it means na dalawa na lang yung natitirang laro ni Reggie Jackson dahil 3 games lang ang Clippers this week. Okay, so I guess yun na yung last question. So I hope nakatulong ulit itong session na to. I'm thinking to do it uh to do this format moving forward even in next season. So just let me know, give me your feedback kung mas preferred niyo yung gantong approach. Ako mas preferred ko din to kasi impromptu. So meaning mas mas hindi ako nahihirapan mag-type. Last question. Where pick up ba si Moses Brown this week to his 5 games? I had to drop Clark for him. If it's Clark, yes, I would add Moses Brown. Let's roll the dice to Papi Moses. Anyway, thank you so much mga papi. I hope you are already subscribed in our YouTube channel. Always like, follow, and share our other mediums. We are available at YouTube, Spotify, Anchor, Google Podcast, Apple Podcast, and Stitcher. And soon, magkakaroon pa ng improvement yan. And wait for our contents. Mas dadagdag pa yan dahil okay na yung page natin. So, nung mga nakaraan, naglolo ko yung page natin. Wala akong mabasang comments. Hindi ako makapag-post. At hindi din ako makabasa ng message. So, now, nagagawa na ulit natin yan. So, mag-expect kayo ng more contents moving forward. Pero iko-continue pa rin natin 'tong daily grind natin up to week 20 'to mga paps or even basta hangga't kaya gagawin natin 'yan. And then after that, iisipan natin ng solid na content during the playoffs. Maybe some reviews na lang, tamang kwentuhan na lang. Okay 'yun. Ano pa ba? Good evening. Dinner na tayo. Salamat mga paps. Bye-bye.